So we are live. Welcome to After Dark with Marc. My name is Marc and welcome to another episode of After Dark with Marc. Today I receive someone that I met, which I absolutely love her energy. She considers herself to be a serial entrepreneur. And I'm bringing you into a trip today in the Netherlands to meet Kristien van Elteren. Welcome to the show, Kristien. I'm so happy to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Marc. I'm looking forward to be on the show today.
Well, this is your first podcast, right?
It is. I'm excited.
How cool is that?
Yes. So I'm kicking off with you as of my very first podcast.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit, like, what motivates you to wake up in the morning?
Oh, yeah. I'm an entrepreneur. So the moment I wake up, I love thinking about the little steps I'm going to move forward that day. As long as it's a small step or a big step, every step is one towards my entrepreneurial dream. So that's why I love to wake up early.
So you absolutely love everything that has to do with business. I remember the very first time that we talked about, we talked for a long time and it was all around business and your ideas and I want to do this. And even though that when we talked, because I was supposed to be in Amsterdam and we met before that I was going there, like via a video conference call. And you were so enthused about like everything that you're doing. So tell me a little bit, like, what is it that you're doing and who is Kristien?
Okay, let's go. I will take you on my personal business journey. So I'm Kristien van Elteren. I'm DNA entrepreneur. I started at a very young age. I come originally from the southern part of the Netherlands. So I moved when I was in my early 20s. I moved to the Caribbean. And from there, I built my first art trading company. So I've done for 6, maybe 7 years, the Art Expo Las Vegas, the Art Expo New York. Then I did a lot of art shows in Switzerland, which was an amazing experience.
Are you an artist yourself?
No, I'm not. I'm really a trader, but that sounds a little bit superficial. I love to be surrounded by beautiful things. As you can see here on the back, you see an amazing art horse.
I love those pieces.
And below down, you see the art dog. So basically, I'm surrounded by amazing people, artists who make those sculptures, paintings during that period. And it was amazing to promote them and to make them even more famous and sell their art pieces. So it was like selling an experience during that period when I had the company.
Actually, like, right now that you're talking about this and I look at the dog at the bottom, I have a friend, his name is Peter Bowling, and he's a managing director of an hotel in Los Cabos, but he was in the Caribbean. And I remember that he had a show with those type of dogs. And you said that dog is coming from a show in the Caribbean. Is that correct?
I got it from the artist. So
okay.
It could be exposed there as well. So you see my, so it could be that it's been exposed there as well because the artists always travel around like I'm doing. But it was in my previous company. So
that was your previous life.
Yes. So I don't know if the artist has now the dogs in a current exhibition in the Caribbean. So that could be.
So basically, so cool.
I was love doing what I did at that time was my art company. And at the same page, there came a big project just outside of Amsterdam on my path. It was a marina. So I thought, this is a really interesting project. Let me explore. And then I thought, okay, this could be my next step. And at the same moment, I came across a person who said, oh, Kristien, I want to take over your company. So it was like meant to be. So I sold my art company, and then I took over the marina, which I'm currently owner of. And the marina is located just outside of Amsterdam, 10 minutes from Amsterdam. But I don't believe I have a marina. I believe I have an A1 waterfront project where we have a lot of boat spaces for boats, little boats, bigger boats. And I have on the spot, on the premises, I have also apartments for short-term rental. So
So
we focus.
basically, you went from an art trader, in trading piece of arts, which I think that there's a big name that comes to my mind when it comes to trading arts, which his name is Jeffrey Laurier. He's a professional baseball owner from New York. And I know him, I know of him because he bought the team, my favorite team when I was a kid, the Montreal Expos, and then moved that team in Florida. No, actually moved it to Washington and then sold it and then bought another team. But what I want to say is I didn't know that it was a profession, like to trade art. And
It
it
is.
seems that like there's a lot of art traders in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, there are. There are a lot. And I mean, trading sounds a little bit rude, I find, because it's really, you have unique pieces. So it's an emotion, an artist. So they put in all their soul and energy. So I think you're not selling a product, you're selling an experience. And that's
So
what I do.
how did you get involved into this?
Basically, my mom, she's an artist. So I've been born and raised between art. By
And
the age of 12, I was always smelling, what's the name in English? The painting smell?
oh, I don't know. I cannot tell you.
Acrylic.
Okay. So you were smelling
And
the
oil.
acrylic, and this was making you feel like you just had some kind of you loved it, but not to be the artist yourself. Like what you want to do is you wanted to do the business
No, I really like to do,
associated with the art.
because I'm a person I'm really creative, but I'm creative in solving problems. So when I see a business case, I always find easy the solutions to problems. I've studied in South Africa, in Pretoria. I've done my MBA business innovation. So basically there I've learned very good how to look at a business case in the changing economy. So we're currently in a changing experience economy. How do you need to adjust your business case to this new economy? How do you change? How do you adapt? How do you innovate? And that was also a big challenge why I thought, okay, I take over a marina. That's quite a traditional business case. How can you innovate this business case to the new economy? Because the consumer is changing. The whole environment is changing. More and more people are going abroad. Why do they need to buy a boat? So if you could change this business case, which I did, we are now having the experience with art on the premises. So we're basically now in the marina office. So you see the art behind me. You're immersed as a client, a guest when you visit the marina. So it's different than other marinas. So I like the experience, building the experience, building the innovation in a business case. And I think that's really what it's all about. Of course, you have a lot of challenges on a daily basis as an entrepreneur, but I like to have the challenges. Otherwise, it gets
So
bored.
so what? Wait, I remember you told me that I get bored very easily, and this is the reason why that you want to be challenged all the time. You want to get into new projects, and one thing that well, let's go from the fact that you say, okay, I had this business of trading art, and then I decided I'm gonna buy a marina. It's not an easy step, right? That's kind of a quantum leap. That's kind of a quantum jump. So like what was your first approach towards that marina, and really look at it and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to transform this from a marina to really a waterfront experience?
Of course, I had my doubts, but my main vision on life is you have to go get out of your comfort zone. So I said to myself, hey, Kristien, of course, it will be difficult. You don't know much about boats, but let's go dive into the water, literally in your own water. So I took the decision, and based on that, you start. And then, as I said in the beginning of the podcast, every day you move one step forward and one is forward. And so you build the new business case. And then step by step, you can feel the reactions of customers and guests. And then you see if they like it. And then you adjust. And then step by step, you get something which is working in a new experience economy.
What I like about what you said, and I want to go back to when you talked about people are traveling a lot. There's a lot of people that lives abroad, which basically this is where you started your career. You went to the Caribbean, and you decided to come back home. But in the Netherlands, what I'm realizing, and it's one of the reasons why we want to do events there, and that we were on the way to do an event there, is there's a lot of foreigners. There's a huge English speaking community in the Netherlands. Like, what is your experience with the English speaking community there?
Yeah, first of all, Amsterdam is a very international community. And it's great to be here and to live here. Myself, I'm a board member of the Amsterdam American Business Club. So there I'm really involved in the American community. And there I get to meet a lot of international people, and we connect with each other and we help each other in the business forward.
Do you have the numbers of how many Americans are living in Amsterdam, or foreigners, English speaking people that lives there specifically?
That's a good question. I'm not working.
Well, I'm not putting you. I'm not putting you.
Dutch government.
No, but there's a big English speaking community there. Like, one thing that I see every time that I hear someone which is Dutch is like, oh, we all speak English here.
Yeah, but we easily switch to English. If we hear somebody is speaking English, we usually transfer to have them involved in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now you're working with this this marina, and as you said, like, you didn't want to have only a marina. What you wanted to have was a waterfront experience.
Yes.
So this is where that you got involved into real estate as well.
True. So it's basically a real estate project, and when I took it over, it was not well known. I changed the name. I changed the whole surroundings. I did a massive reconstructions. So there was a lot to do before we were ready and up and running.
And how is it as a woman entrepreneur? Because, like, this is something that I believe that a lot of women, that are watching this, they might be thinking, yeah, but I don't know, like, this is a man's world, especially like when I hear about marina. I've been around marina. I lived around marinas for the past 8 years, and what you realize is it's very much a man's world. How is it as a woman to be among this community?
To be honest, I never think in such terms. I believe we are entrepreneur DNA, so we just keep going. And of course, sometimes it's difficult, but I don't believe more difficult than any other entrepreneur having a company at waterfront.
So your idea of that is like a man would feel exactly the same way that you might feel. No. In terms of like doing business in this environment.
He will have probably different experiences, because when I started, I didn't know much about technical things. And now I'm more or less a technical expert in breakwaters, moorings, etc.
So
So
now you're talking about terms that nobody understands.
yes, so yeah, I know. I've learned a lot over the years.
I bet. No, but like the reason why I asked this question is because there's a lot of women which basically they listening to this and they're
Mhm.
saying to themselves, you know, I would like to do that. So where should I start?
You mean to have a marina
No, not necessarily a marina, to
or
have
real
a
estate?
business, like to be in business for themselves.
Okay. I always say, make this first step today, and then tomorrow the next one, and then you get in a roller coaster, and then it's like you get the positive energy, and then you keep going. And of course, you will have difficulties, challenges, but you have to keep forward, move yourself forward every day one, and don't think in terms that a man is maybe better or another person or another woman. Don't think of another one. There will always be someone better, but it will not be you. So if you just be yourself, then you're unique. So I believe every person is unique. Every entrepreneur is unique. You can have an idea, but the way you roll it out in the market is your vision. It's your way of building the business. So, for example, Mark, if we have the same idea, if you have a marina and I have a marina, then your business case will be totally different. So that's your
Totally.
entrepreneur DNA, and so that's for. I always say to women, just do it, just start. Don't be insecure, just do it, and remind making mistakes. It's fun. You will laugh at it later, and you will say to yourself, "Oh, this is so funny that I did this or that." And I mean, if you don't make mistakes, you don't grow, and if you don't grow, you don't move to the next step. For instance, I have now this very first podcast today with you, and maybe I will next year we will have another one, and we will have say next year. You know, remember last year how we improved and learned so much more together? That's how it works. You have to start.
So the first step is the decision. This is what they have to do. They have to make the decision, like this is what I want to do, this is what we should be doing. And then like one thing that I really love about what you said is to really tap in the uniqueness of who you are. And then from there, like basically the business is going to form around you as an entrepreneur.
Yes, and don't and always try to think from a different perspective. I mean, if you have a challenge or difficulty, there's always a solution. Then there's been research that if you only sit down for 5 minutes and really think of 5 or 10 solutions, although they sound a little bit crazy, there will always come up a solution to come over the challenge.
So then in this case, why is people so lazy to take that time, to take that 5 minutes and to really think about solutions? Because let's take in a changing economy that we are experiencing, and it doesn't matter if it's now or if it's in 5 years or 10 years from now. The economy is always evolving, it's always changing. We always have new things. You know, not long ago, cryptocurrency was like new to the market, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, I don't want to touch that." And now it's start to be familiar to people, and they start like getting involved with this. But why is people so lazy of like taking the time to really sit down and see like how can I use this tool and really start thinking about solution on what I want to create?
First of all, I don't think it's laziness. Maybe it's just how humans, how we are all. It's just easier to keep going in your same path, in your brains. It's always difficult to come up with new brain paths. Uh, so maybe it's just a habit we all have developed from the early years in our growing up as a person.
Hmm.
Maybe we should
So
make a
you,
course, Mark. Why don't you make a course of that? Breaking your own brains.
well, I do have one that does exactly
Oh, really?
that. So like for me, but I'm looking more at your perspective as an entrepreneur and from your point of view, because I believe that you've been doing really really well for yourself. I mean, you don't go from being someone like you can have a business MBA, you can have like studies, but that doesn't mean that you will succeed. That doesn't mean that you can start and build a marina and get into real estate and the other projects that you're working on right now.
Yes. You have to just do it. And of course, I've had my challenges as well. I've had my difficulties because there will always be. But that's the fun of being entrepreneur. If you don't like challenges, that I mean, there are always challenges. There are always projects which are more difficult than the others. And I see it as a journey, and the journey is the fun. And you work towards your dream, but you have to enjoy the journey of building the dream. That's, I believe, then you enjoy every day being working hard on your dream.
And every time that you say like this is the journey, this is where the fun, you're having a big smile coming, and then
Yeah.
you can see that you're really enjoying those challenges. One thing that you said is you really specialize at looking at the problem from different angle and coming up with solutions. Like, tell me a little bit about this, because you started making it as well part of a business model for yourself, and clients are coming to you to help them in this matter.
Yes, because it's always difficult to for yourself to you have to push yourself to look from different perspectives, because there are always different approaches and different ways to look at a situation. And if you have a solution, then you have to always be to yourself sharp and say, hey, is this really the best angle to look at this situation or this issue? Because sometimes if you look a little bit further or you talk with somebody about it, then you come to a better way to solve it.
Do you think sometimes we're just too close to the tree, and that's the reason why we cannot see the forest?
That's a good one. Could sometimes we are, and sometimes uh, we just don't see it, and then you have to just step out. That's why I think a good coach is important if you are an entrepreneur, that you can talk with a person who motivates you, who uh, really, you can ask you in-depth questions.
And push you. So what was your involvement with mentorship into your journey? Because I mean, you've been in business for a few years now.
I'm not
Um,
so old yet, Mark.
I'm sorry.
I'm very young still.
Hey, I'm not gonna go there, right?
No, I'm open. I don't mind becoming older. It's great. I mean,
That's
the,
where
the
the
more
wisdoms
you
come in.
know, the more the more challenges you have seen. So you have more experience and you can help other people. That's what I really like.
So who was the people that really was role models for you in your journey?
Hmm. Good question. Good question. Um, I think that sounds quite. Yeah, my dad is a really big entrepreneur. Um, I've learned a lot from him, really a lot. The way he does business, the way he works, the way he treats the company. I think I've learned a lot from him, and that's really inspiring for me too.
So they're saying that the apple do not fall too far from the tree. That might be the case. So you've learned this as a little girl. You were seeing and you were having an example already, like through your youth.
Yes. What do you believe? You believe that too?
Absolutely, absolutely. I believe that role models are extremely important. And if you grew up into a family where people are involved into business, most likely, and we call this into a psychology term, we call this a paradigm. So like
Yeah.
you are growing into this environment. So most likely you will have this embedded into your habits without even having anything to say about it. But further along, in the future, what is happening is it becomes extremely useful. So you can start using those into your life, and it's natural. Like, you grow through it, you've seen it, you experience it, and people are asking, and this is why I was asking you, what would you say to someone that wants to start? But what I'm seeing is like it's very innate in you. Like that's you. It seems that it's part of you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's part of me. It's just who I am.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Are
yeah,
you from a
challenge, give it to me.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Give the compliment. No, but Mark, are you from an entrepreneurial company, family?
No, not at all. Like
Okay.
for me, my family was totally the opposite. My mom was working for for the government,
Mm,
and my dad was an engineer architect. So very intelligent, very academic. So he had like two master's degrees. So it was more on that part. But my dad couldn't find a job to save his life. So it's very interesting to see and now understand what really happened to him, and I had to change this in me. But like just to go back to the question is like when the person is there, it's like, I really would like to start a business, and it faced that fear that you mentioned. So like I had my doubts, I had like my challenges. Most of the people are not even taking that first step because they're so scared and they try to figure out everything. But and I love what you said, every day is an opportunity, and every day is a way, is a reason to get a little closer to your goal and get a little closer to your
one
dream.
step every day, how small it is. It's one step towards your dream, and then you will feel that it's not so scary because then you think, okay, I make this little step, and this little step is not so scary. So then you will soon feel like, okay, I can make a little bigger step, and then the bigger becomes bigger, and then you building a habit because within 20 days you build a habit. So if you do it every day, one step, 21 days, you have a habit of little steps day by day. So then after 21 days, it's like strange that you're, for instance, not making that little step building your dream. So if
So
you
what? Yeah, go ahead.
So if you make that a part of you, then it becomes a habit to make a little step forward. And that makes you a little bit scary because then you think after 21 days, okay, maybe it's not so difficult or not so scary because I'm moving forward and nothing, uh, the world is not collapsed yet. And I'm a little bit further. Yeah.
Do you think that it's happening the same? And again, I'm always asking for the people that are watching this so that they can really relate and they can really say and think, oh yeah, this is the way I'm thinking. So I'm thinking more about the person which is listening to this right now. But would you say that this is something that is happening to people that do have experience and they're continuing? They always have this a little bit of fear, and there's always a little bit of something which they need to step over and fight that wall which is coming, even though that they have experience.
I think fear is not a bad or negative thing. I think it's good to have because it keeps you sharp, it keeps you on the edge, and it keeps you thinking, okay, is this the best step to move forward? So I don't think that fear is a negative emotion to have if you think as a positive and it's emotion, okay, I have this competition, competence, and use it to be sharp and to move forward and say to yourself, hey, okay, I have this fear, but let's make it to work for me, to move forward and make the first step in building my business or my dream, whatever you want to build. Because it will give you so much pleasure and so much energy when you work on what you really want to do.
I really enjoy this part, what you're just saying right now about fear, because a few years ago, I heard something from Jason Silva, which is he's a keynote speaker, and he work in Spanish and English, which that's my case as well. I work in both languages. And I remember he said, everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Yeah. And it really, to me, it was a life changer, because if you start thinking about it, when fear is, I love this acronym, no? False emotion appearing real. So like you're having an emotion which you're experiencing because you are doing something that you never done before. And one thing that we're teaching is that fear is an emotion that you are having based on something you cannot see. So there's the fear coming, and you can't see, like, really, because you don't have enough data. But the opposite of fear is faith.
True.
And faith is an emotion that you have based on something you cannot see.
Yeah. So both, they're linked.
Exactly. They both link, and both have the same parameters. So you are having an emotion, but you cannot see it on the other side. But if you are really taking a leap of faith, if you're really going on the other side, like, this is where, and this is why you need faith in order to fight fear, in order to get over the fear. And then you start seeing the things, and you start having data, and you start understanding, okay, why you had fear. And all of a sudden, like, you're just realizing, oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted. But if you would have not go over that wall of fear, like, you could have never experienced that. And I believe that a lot of people are not really experiencing their life because they're not even taking that first step, that first leap of faith.
But you can also see fear as something you experience with your body. And if you take the fear as a challenge, then you challenge yourself to come over the fear. For instance, if you're afraid of public speaking, then you just say, okay, I start a little bit to a small public, and then you speak to 10 people, and then you challenge yourself doing it. And then if you have done it speaking for 10 people, then you say to yourself, okay, this was difficult, but maybe your fear is getting less and less. So the next time you speak for 20 people, and then you get better at it, and you can challenge yourself over the fear. Don't you agree, Marc?
Oh, absolutely. I'm all for this. I mean, myself, I'm a keynote speaker. This is my passion. You know, when I have public and I can do a lecture, I can do a conference, I can speak, like, this is the thing that I love the most. Now, in your case, when you're working with the American Business Association, tell me a little bit about, like, what is this association consist in?
We are a business club, fully voluntarily. So basically, we want to enhance the business with the United States and the internationals in Amsterdam. So if you're like an expat or doing business with the United States, you can join with our club and get to know the community. And we organize 11 events a year on different locations through Amsterdam. So you get to know the city. And during every monthly event, there is first a little piece of content, interesting content, and then you get to network. You can talk with various members of the club. So you really get to know business people. And we're open. Everybody is welcome. I mean, it's a really mingle of internationals, and it's really a good atmosphere there.
How many members do you have in your club?
Of course, there are a lot moving up and down the states, of course, so it's always in and out, but approximately 150 now. So it's a very good club And we do a lot of joint events. So we've done last year a joint event with Indian Chamber. Last year we did also a joint event with the Swiss Embassy, where we did, the focus was about blockchain and Bitcoin, and we invited Marc of the Quote to speak about and to teach how to become a Bitcoin millionaire. So that was really a very good topic for a lot of people. So, I mean, we also bring content. So besides the networking, you really learn something during the evening. So now, I'm really great to be part of that, to be part of the board, to bring the club forward together with the rest.
Absolutely. I love those business community, because there are people which, for the most part, you know, when you get involved into a business community, it's because like you care about business, you're interested into the business idea, you're interested as well to mingle and to share ideas. What are you guys doing during like this pause?
At the moment, of course, we don't have a choice. You mean with the
club?
period?
Yeah.
So you mean with the pause, with the?
Well, like right now, everybody's on pause, right? So, like, what is the club doing while that you're doing this? Are you doing virtual
We're
business
moving
meetings?
Virtual. We don't have a choice, so we do now virtual events and virtual networking, and we're exploring that at the moment. So so far so good. Maybe we'll find a new way, an extra way to communicate with the members. So far the reactions and the results are very positive. So because it's all about what the members want, and then we listen, and then we build around that. Of course, the events.
So what's next for you? Like being an entrepreneur, been doing like, you know, different projects, and now your project like is solid. I mean, we can always get better on it. We can always improve. But you were letting me know, it's just like, you know, now I'm getting itchy. You know, I need to get moving. I need to start something new. I need to
get. I always say I have ideas what I want to build, but I always keep my eyes open, because you never know who you meet tomorrow or which option comes across. So you never know what you're going to build until you meet that person, or that project. So it always, I like the idea that you don't know what's coming next, but you will feel it. You will immediately feel it. That was the same with this marina project. I came across the project and I really felt, okay, this is it. This I need to build. And we didn't talk about it yet, but during the marina, I've also built another company, a tech company, where I did listing management for holiday rentals. And that was besides the marina. I came across the project, I built it, and it was growing at such a fast pace. And then there came a person across, and out of the blue, and he said, I want to take over the company. And then I thought, okay, this is the perfect person to make this company bigger. And I was never the intention to sell that company. I had the idea, okay, this is a project next to the marina. I love tech, I love to build, I love to see things grow. And then that person came across, and then we had the talk, and then I said, yes, I have to do this. So I never knew that this person was coming across my path until he came. And that's the great thing about entrepreneurship. You're in charge of your own choices. If you come across a project, an idea, or a business case, you can say, hey, I sell my current project or my current business case, and I move to the other thing, which is the thing I really want to build, or is really now in my path I want to be as entrepreneur. So I always say, you're in charge. You're the captain of your
Of your
life.
boat.
You're
Yeah.
entrepreneur. You're both.
Right. In your case, you're the captain of your boat.
So basically, to answer your question, I have dreams, but I don't share my big entrepreneurial dream, because then people will say to me, "Hey, Kristien, maybe you should do that not, or you should do it in that way." And I don't want to hear how I should do it. So I don't share my big dream. I keep it to myself. I've written it down, and once in in a year I look at it, and then I think, okay, yes, it's still my dream. And every day I do a little step towards that dream.
We
And
have a saying. We have a saying, like, based on what you just said, like, the success is the progressive realization of a worthy dream. So based on what you just said, that's exactly it. Like, every day you're taking a little step towards it, and so basically you're successful.
so I know my dream is there, and I will move along the way to that dream. And I don't know who's coming, or which person or which project is coming along, but I will take the decisions to build that dream. And it will go this way because that's how it goes, but it will go up. That's what I believe.
What do you like most in the different field? There's so many fields in terms of business. Like you just mentioned that you love tech. Like there's real estate that a lot of people are getting involved into it, which you did into two parts. I mean, you did real estate, like water real estate and land real estate in the same time. There's like right now there's virtual companies, like online businesses. Like, what would you recommend to someone that is looking at this and says, okay, I think I'm going to follow what Kristien says, but where do you go, and what do you like the most into those different businesses?
What I like the most is building.
Which part? What do you mean by building?
Everything from A to Z. I like to build. I'm a builder, so I like to build the marketing. I like to build really the construction building. Um, I like when you see things grow. So basically, you see a company is every element needs to be built. So you have to see it like a big house you're building. Every pillar needs to be right. Your marketing, your financials, your constructions. So you have to see it like a big house you're building. And every time you build a little piece and it gets better. And when you start, it's like, okay, there's nothing yet. So you make the first element, then the second one, and then you go around and then you're back at the first one. And then you think, okay, this one I've built, this element is not so good anymore, or I need to improve. So it's like basically over and over building, and you have to, I like the building part and really exploring how to improve things. So it's basically every time you look at something, you think, okay, is this the best thing I can think of it? Or can I improve? Or can I make it better? Or can we build it better? So that's what I like about the different business activities I'm in.
We have a saying that, or someone said that you have to do it yourself, but you cannot do it alone. Now, obviously, you are utilizing this because you said that there's people coming along, and I do partnership, I work with people, and all this. How would you identify that a person is the right person to work with?
You will feel it, and your guts. I mean, you feel the person. If you cannot trust a person, or you have your doubts, then don't do it. I believe you can. Yeah, you can also test people, but I don't believe that's necessary. You feel it from the first moment, usually.
So you're very intuitive. So you're really listening to that intuition, which is there, and you're following this. So if your intuition tells you, well, you should follow this path, you should go with this person, you should do this thing, like this is normally the path that you're going to take.
Yeah, for instance, last year, oh no, 2 years ago, one of my dream was a parking lot to buy. So I started that project, and a person in my inner circle said, "No, that's not possible. That's not possible." Just quit with the conversation.
This is why you stop talking with people about your dream now.
No, I did it before, but that was really inner circle person. So and they said, "No, Kristien, that's not possible." And I kept going, and I didn't mention it to anybody anymore. And now I have it, and now I own it. So it's just, you have to believe in it. If you believe in it, if you think you can do it, you do it.
So for you, this is really the key is to listen to your intuition. So if you have one advice to give to someone, which is just right there, just on the point, is that, you know what, I don't like to sit on my hands right now. I don't like to be that someone dictate how I should work, and if I should work, I would like to start my own business. What is that one advice that you give that person?
What I would advise is always think behind the box, but even think further. There's no box. So think beyond the box. Really, there's no box at all. That's where the magic happens in your head. Then you come up with ideas, business cases. Just think beyond. And that's really my personal slogan. Always go beyond, go to the next. That's what I believe really strongly.
So in this case, what you're saying is like, follow your intuition. Like, start if you're feeling, I'm done with this, I don't want to work for someone. So follow this intuition, which is that's the first indication that like you should be working for yourself.
You have to follow your dream. You have to write down your dream, make your dream an action plan. So you write down your dream, then you make your action plan, and then you really have your goals set. I mean, if you don't write it down, it keeps a dream. Then it keeps in your head a dream. You keep on thinking on it. But if you really put it on paper, then it's written down, and then you have to do something with it. You have to challenge yourself to make the steps. So you make a to-do list or a goal list, whichever suits in your schedule next to your job. So then you can work on it because it's visualized. And then you have to repeat it every day to yourself. You say, okay, this is my dream. I repeat it, and you say it loud. So you get used that you are achieving your dream. Otherwise, it stays in your dream like a dream you're having at night, and you're not making it really, how do you say, tangible.
A plan. Mm-hmm. You don't make it a plan, right? It's not something. And there's a saying said like, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
So right. So if you're not moving, if you're not like taking the steps, but what would you say to someone who says, yeah, but I have it in my mind, I don't need to write it down?
Yeah, but then it stays a dream. I have written it down as well. Yeah.
I love what you're saying right now, because like, I'm sometimes I'm just like banging my head on the wall, and just like, you need to write it down. Yeah. And people write it on their phones. No. Pen and paper. There's great things happening when pen to paper, like which you're creating. You're coming from a blank sheet of paper, and with a pen you started like forming things, you're creating things out of nothing. It is so magical if you start thinking about it. Imagine that you're coming now from far, far away, and you never saw a pen and a paper, and then you take like a little stick, you know, that long, and you just by moving it, like it leaves a line behind, and you can put forms and you can draw and you can, I mean, if you think about it, it is just a beautiful concept. Yet we take it for granted and we're not realizing the power behind that, which in our mind, if you're writing down, you know, I want a marina, or I have a marina,
That it
and
comes physical. It comes really tangible, and you get more. Besides it's in your head, it will also be more. I don't know the word, but it, more senses will sense it. So it's, you know what I mean. Your eyes will see
mm,
that it's written down.
yes. Mhm.
Uh, you if you go a step further, your dream you put it in images. Then you can look at your dream, and if you look at your dream, then you can visualize yourself having a dream. So that's the next step. Once you have written it down, so the words on paper, you're going to visualize it. Then it will be even more tangible in your head, and you keep repeating it. So you're going to get used that you will be that entrepreneur, or will having that business, or will having that dream you are dreaming about.
What would you say to someone that would say to you, "Oh yeah, but like, you know, this might work for you, but like it doesn't really it doesn't really work for me."
To be honest, I sometimes have this pitfall still, because then I think, okay, it's in my head, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And then I think, Christine, no, you have to write it down. And then I write it down, and then I break it down in steps. And then I do every day a step, and I think that I achieving it. And then I think, okay, Christine, this was not good that it kept going in your head. So I would say to that person, try it. Try it. Just try it. There's nothing to lose. If you say, hey, it doesn't work for me, okay, then you have tried it at least. And then it's maybe not your way of achieving it, but this is my way of achieving it. And every person is different. So maybe that person say, hey, Christine, I have a better way. Please share, because maybe I can learn from you, and uh, I can even improve myself, because I don't have the knowledge for everybody. I mean, I just tell what I experience and what works for me as entrepreneur so far. But I'm still on my path of learning every day. I mean, that's great about being an entrepreneur. You learn every day, and it's like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do this and this better, because today that was really not good what I did. But that's what I really
So
liked about it.
what I would recommend you to do is like just follow someone which has demonstrated that they know what they're talking about. And Kristien is obviously, she knows what she's talking about. So if she's saying to you, you should try it, I would try it. You know, I would take it. I would take a pen, a pad, and I would just like start thinking, like, you know, everything that you have in your mind that like you're dreaming about, that you're fantasizing about, like start writing it down and see like how what type of feeling that you're getting out of it, and follow your intuition.
Yes, and I would like to add, always what you're dreaming about. If somebody else has achieved it already, then you can do it as well, because somebody has achieved it. So then you just start. That person started years ago as well, not with no experience, with no. So just start and see, look for the persons who has achieved what you want to achieve, or dream about.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Kristien, for sharing your journey. Um, I'm looking. I'm very curious about what's coming in your plate in the next months, years. I know that we're gonna be in contact, you and I, and like there's some things like in the making, in the cooking, which we'll share in time. But I'm so grateful that you took some time and be on the show After Dark with Marc.
It was a real honor to be here, and I really enjoyed it. And this was also a part of my journey to learn to be in a podcast. And I hope that everybody enjoyed it, and they always can contact me. It will be a pleasure to, yeah, to help them a step forward in their dream. So
Well, we'll put your datas into the notes. So when you're watching, make sure that you go and check like what is she doing. I know that I'm gonna stay at the marina when next time that I'm going to Amsterdam.
you're
Very
most
very
welcome.
excited. Very exciting. And well, good luck on everything that you're doing, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you.